Okay, so we're gonna try this again. I recorded um a live, well, not a live. Well, you get what I'm saying. I recorded a commentary earlier, but I was playing Battlefield, and it just wasn't working out right. For some reason, when I play that game while streaming in Streamlabs, it just looks like dog water. It's probably because I'm playing on this laptop and I need to upgrade my PC. Hold on, I gotta mute my voice chat. Any day now. Okay. Audio. Turn voice chat off for now. There we go. Who we got? We got tank, DPS, DPS, DPS. No heals. Nobody wants to run heals. Somebody heals, please. No. I'll just do it just because. But if we only got one healer, I'm gonna be pissed off. Anyways, yeah. So what I talked about in the last, well, not okay. They changed that. That's interesting. What I talked about in the last, or not the last, but what I talked about in the video that I was recording that I've since then deleted was basically like trauma. And I feel like I've talked about that already. So I need to kind of like keep some kind of a log on what I've discussed so I don't continue to discuss the same topics. But I digress. I don't think I talked about it in the way that I am going to talk about it now. And the way in which I want to talk about it is basically like, just first and foremost, from the Buddhist perspective, we all suffer. Like, let's just start there. The human conditioning is suffering in and of itself. Like, there's no, damn, I missed. There's no getting past that. You know what I mean? Like, everybody has some kind of trauma. Everybody has some kind of pain. Either it's, trauma that you sustain. Oh my goodness. Sustained from your upbringing, your caretakers, didn't interact with you in a favorable way, or it could be so many things that, and that's the thing about like suffering. Like, you have physical suffering, obviously, like, someone breaks a leg or suffers some type of physical trauma, but then you have the suffering that, you know like the mental suffering that accompanies those types of things too. But I don't want to get too far from like the main point of what I'm talking about. My main point is just like, if you're somebody who's conscious enough to know that you have trauma, I just want to be that voice or that person that tells you today that, like, you need to do whatever you can. Oh my god, I'm about to die. You need to do whatever it is that you can to work on addressing your trauma every single day, every opportunity you get a chance to do so. Like, no one else is going to force you to do that. No one's going to make you do that. But I'm going to be the person to tell you right now, yeah, you thought you were going back and spawn, didn't you, buddy? You thought. You want to sit there and be irritated with that onk? Oh my god. Yeah, it's done. It's wraps. It's wraps. I'm dead. I'm dead. That's the type of shit right there that'd really piss me off and make me switch characters. But, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to play heals and let everybody else get off in their own way, because everybody in this game want to play DPS and your ass. But it is what it is. I'm not gonna go into it right now. So again, the trauma, right? So I got a very specific example on this whole entire. Alright, yo. Alright, yo. Like I said, I don't want to do it, but I'm feeling a bit forced to switch, because DPS is like, what are we doing? Y'all not killing nobody. Okay, who is that? I forgot who that is, but Scarlet's killing people. It's fucking, what's her name? Storm. She's not killing anybody. Anyways, so I have a very specific example, right? Okay. Get him the fuck out of here, man. He's pissing me off. Of course. And then they just walk through it like it's just nothing. Thank you. Yeah, of course. Yeah, you're not finna do that again, bro. And where is the rest of my team other than getting packed up? Anyways, so like I said, I have a very specific example, right? So there was this girl that I was with. I'm not gonna say that we were dating because we weren't. You know, we just weren't. Like, when it comes to you and somebody else being a boyfriend and girlfriend, I feel that's like a different level. The best way I can say it is like we were there for one another. I was there for her, she was there for me. And we got to this point in our entanglement, if you will, where we were just arguing like every day. Like even looking back on it, it's like I don't even know why we were arguing every day, but we were just arguing every day, you know? And I just I just got to a point where I was just like, bro, like, obviously talking to the girl, I'm like, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, what is it? Like, we clearly need to have a serious heart to heart and figure stuff out because something ain't right. Something clearly is not right. We clearly got some issues going on. We need to figure this out. We need to get this figured out. So throughout us talking and really just putting our feelings and emotions and everything out there, she shares something with me, something very personal about her trauma, and it's like, and I say this with the utmost respect and love that I have for her, even though we don't speak anymore. But like this is how I kind of knew that shit was raps. Like it was raps. Like it really was. Because things just progressively got worse after that. But she was basically like, yeah, like my trauma is like, my dad left at a young age. He wasn't there for us. He wasn't there for me. So, and this is verbatim, like straight out of the horse's mouth, as or whatever, straight from the source. Like she said, because of what my dad did, I feel like all men have to suffer. Like all of them, like I'm gonna make them suffer. I'm gonna bring them pain type shit. And it's like when she said that, I felt like that meme that like the dude that's like standing there pointing at himself, like kind of slightly smiling, like me. Cause it's like I'm looking in the mirror and I'm just like, well, I am a man. You know what I mean? So it's like, what does that mean for me? Newsflash, yeah, I definitely did suffer interacting with this girl. Um, the best way I could put it is like nothing that I ever could do for her was ever enough. Like it just legitimately did not matter what I did. Like it didn't matter the amount of money I spent. It didn't matter the time that I spent. It didn't matter the effort that I put in. It didn't matter that I was the only person, there. I was the only person who did anything for her birthday or, what I'm saying? Like none of those things mattered. And it's like, that stuff really messed with me like real bad, you know what I mean? Because I'm just like sitting back thinking like, damn, it's me. It's got to be me. I mean, I'm the one doing all this, and she's obviously not happy. But it's like, obviously, I know that wasn't the case. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, nobody can really make you happy. Only you can make yourself happy. But you get my point. Like even when I kind of like address the trauma and like that's how you feel, like you're not gonna like go to therapy or do whatever it is that you can to kind of like work on these feelings. It was a no. It was a straight up no. Like I said, out of her own mouth, she was just like, yeah, no, I don't feel like I have to or that I need to work on these, or it is what it is. And it's just like me sitting there, I'm like, well, how can it be what it is if even before me, like, fuck me at this point. It's like with what you've told me, even before me, it's affected you in other relationships. Your unwillingness to listen or take directive or advice from a person just because they're a male, like you've said it. And she's just like, yeah, it is what it is. Like, or yeah, that's just me. Or, and I hate this fucking saying. I hate it with a passion. Yeah, that's just my trauma. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, to be completely conscious of the fact that you have trauma, to be conscious of the fact that it affects your relationships, and to also be unwilling to do anything about it is crazy, like in my opinion. But at the same time, I mean, hey, that's a person just being them and being true to themselves, I suppose. So, I can't knock her for it. My point being is just like her unwillingness to address this in either like, therapy or some real way to where she could have actually gotten some kind of resolve I feel like that was not the reason specifically why things didn't work out between us, but I feel like it would be extremely ignorant to say that wasn't a part of it. You know what I mean? Like I said, nothing I could ever do for her was enough. Like nothing. Um, I don't want to go too in depth about things, obviously, but like at the same time, it's just, I recognize, like I said, nothing I did for her was enough. Like I get off work, I work 9 to 5, I'm tired, I come to the house. Yeah, maybe my energy isn't the best, but it's like she's like, I need to be greeted a certain type of way, interacted with a certain type of way, rubbed, touched, affection, all that. I need that, or else, I feel unloved, and then I'm gonna have a problem, or I'm gonna be frustrated, or me, I, me, me. You get my point. Like, I had to learn that, like, even through what she said, like, I'm gonna make all men feel pain and suffer for what my dad did. Like, I wish I could show y'all the messages. I still have it. She's like, yes, all men. And I'm just like thinking in my head, it's like, you said you want to have a family. You say you want to have kids. Like, what if one of your kids is a man? Like, does he have to suffer as well? Does he have to experience pain as well? Like, yeah, Trey, you might be thinking too hard, sure, but it's like that's just how my brain works with stuff, you know. And it's like with me being the man that was in her life at the time, when she said that, like I said, I knew that shit was raps. Because it's like, if you won't listen to me, you know what I mean? But it's like, I'm an empath. So I understood that, like, how could I put it? That it wasn't me being not enough or being unworthy or undeserving. It was her, you know? Like, when you have those deep trauma wounds, nothing that anyone does for you will matter. Like, legitimately, it won't. I could have given her a star, a moon, and the Eiffel Tower, and it still wouldn't have mattered, because it's like there's a hole, that was left by, her parent, her father. So my point being in all of this is just like, if you know that you have some type of trauma and you're unwilling, I mean, completely unwilling to take any advice or to seek any like professional clinical help to address that, in no way, shape, or form should you be trying to date or in a dating pool or trying to be with somebody or start any of that. But I mean, let's be honest, people are going to do it regardless. But I just feel like you're doing a disservice to yourself, first and foremost, and to the people that you claim you love. Because if you don't address that trauma, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to spill over into every other possible crevice, nook, cranny, and facet of your life. It just will. You still don't feel like enough. You still don't feel enough or love because of something that somebody did to you 20 plus years ago. And it's like, it's 2026 and you're still thinking about that. Like, that isn't me saying that your trauma isn't valid. Like, obviously your feelings are valid, duh. But it's like, how long are you going to allow that thing that happened to you hold you basically in the past, and from moving forward, realistically becoming like a better version of yourself? So that's really the whole main point of this. Like, it's your job to fix your trauma. Like, it's your job to address that and heal. And if you don't, you will never ever get anywhere with anything or with anyone. Like, you may be able to mask it or hold it back or even get married or be with somebody, and it's like it will always rear its ugly head and it will destroy you. It will destroy the person that you love. It will destroy what you built from inside out, and you will be left with nothing. You will be left even more fucked up than you were before you got into the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's not good. Um and I just say all that to say, like, I hope that she, takes the initiative at some point in her life to, seek professional help for her trauma, because that stuff affected me deeply. Like, even to this day, like, I'm deeply affected by the things that she would say to me, or the ways that she would address me out of, her frustration or her lack of ability to regulate her emotions and stuff. Which, again, that's something that you will suffer as a result of not having those parental figures in your life. They are the ones who are supposed to help you and guide you through life and teach you about, emotional regulation and how to, communicate your feelings when you feel certain types of ways. Like, that's why I be telling people, like, for me, it's easy to tell when, like, it's easy to tell, like, when it comes to people's trauma and stuff like that. Because it's like, look at the way that they act. Look at the way that they treat you. Look at the way that they interact with you. Like, I live by the, the simple rule of don't treat others as you want to be treated. You know what I mean? Like, unless you feel me? Unless you take it there with me, I'm not taking it there with you. Like, I understand misunderstandings, miscommunication, all that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, when somebody takes it there, they take it there, stand up for yourself, be assertive. But you know what I mean? Like, when it comes to certain stuff, like, I just feel like, don't get me wrong, I like this game, bruh. But it's some motherfuckers on here that just make this shit unbearable. I swear to God. But seriously, guys, it's your job to fix your trauma. Like with my trauma, like I'll give you even insight into some of mine. Like, when I was younger, I was brought up, I was raised by my grandmother. So like my parents weren't really in my life like that. But like there were times where they tried to make efforts, and try to be there, but like they failed miserably. Like that's the best way I could put it. Like they failed miserably. And I don't blame them for anything, especially now that I'm older. Like I'm not mad at them, and oh, why don't you guys choose me? All that, but like I don't care anymore. Like you guys missed out, not me. Oh my god, this is just. I'm over it. Like I said, they missed out. Oh my, he's chasing me. This is so annoying. I did all of that just to die. Yep. Anyways, like I said, for them, it's like I feel like they missed out. It is what it is. I'm not tripping too hard on it. But one of the main things that used to happen a lot, that I remember, excuse me, that I remember very well is like there'd be times where either party, mom or dad, because they were separated, they were never together. Well, prior to me, they were, and then I came about, and then I don't know what happened. But what was I fixing to say? Basically, it'd be like, yeah, we're gonna come pick you up on, or not we, like either party would be like, yeah, we're gonna, or I am going to come get you on such and such day, and we're gonna do such and such. Me, as a little kid, I'm ecstatic. I'm not really considering all of the negatives, or you guys aren't here, and why am I with grandma, blah, 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 all this BS. I'm just like, yeah, let's get it. I'm finna hang out with my parents. That's all a kid wants. There were times where we were supposed to and we didn't. And, those days would come about and I would like get nothing. I mean, like I would reach out to either party, no response. I'm just getting fried. No response, no nothing. Like nothing. And so now, in my ripe old age of 29, one thing that triggers me the most is if I make plans with somebody and the day of they completely go like radio silent or they ghost me. Because it's like that's tied to my trauma, yes. You know what I mean? And on top of that, it's just like I feel like unless a meteor hit your house and destroyed all the telephone poles near you, I'm not hearing it. You could have at least sent one. It takes 2 seconds to send one message, you know what I mean? But that's part of my trauma. So it's like I had to work on addressing it. I had to work on, understanding that like, okay, if someone does that to you, you can't allow that to like take you out of character. You can't allow that to make you think badly about yourself. You can't allow, you know what I mean? Because that's my trauma. It would make me think badly about myself. Like thinking back to when I was a kid, like, oh, they must not want me, or I must not be that important to them, or blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's where you get yourself tripped up. That's what trauma does to you. It starts to infiltrate your mind with all these thoughts and feelings and emotions that, like, for lack of better terms, like, it's not doing you no good. It's not doing you any good thinking that way, feeling that way towards people. Like, those things may even be the truth, but it's like you'll never know unless someone tells you. And it's like, do you think people are going to tell you that? No. So I just always erred on the side of giving people the benefit of the doubt and just moving forward. But in regard to like what she said, the whole like, I think all men must pay and suffer, and for what he did, how unfair is that? How unfair is it? And not, like I said, fuck me. Me and that person don't interact anymore. I wish them nothing but the best. But my point is like, how is that fair to any man who comes into your life? And I would ask her stuff like this because it's like when I get with people, I understand the reality of things. I understand that I might not be the last person you ever get with. You know what I mean? Like I'm not that stupid. I'm not that caught up in whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like I get it. Things don't always work out the way that you want or intend them to. But it's like, how unfair is that for any man that comes into your life that truly has the best intentions of loving you, for him to have to break that down and deal with that until you decide that you're ready to address your trauma. Or let's be honest, especially nowadays, especially in 2026, the main shit that I hear from people, I'm me. Love me for me. Fuck no. No. You don't even love for you. You don't even love you for you. And now you want a complete stranger to come in and with all your flaws? No. No. What you get is what you deserve. You know? So it's like with me and her interacting with one another and how things turned out, maybe I deserve that to an extent. Sure, whatever. Maybe there's some stuff I need to work on. Maybe there's some esteem, issues that I still need to work on and address, and, feelings of abandonment and not wanting to leave people and all this other stuff. Yeah, sure, whatever. But it's like, I don't have this mentality in my head because of my mother, my trauma with my mom saying like all women have to pay and suffer, and I'm just gonna cheat, lie, and finesse every woman I come into contact with because of this thing that she does. No, what sense does that make? You know what I'm saying? And if I did, and if somebody came to me sincerely and say, "Hey, I love you," but like that's not okay. Like, not okay in the sense that like you got to work on that. We got to work on that. We got to address that. We got to do better. Like, if I'm going to be in your life, this is going to constantly affect the relationship that we have. So if you care about me, fuck me. If you care about yourself, you should know that this is something that you need to work on. And for her, it wasn't. For her, it was, I know I'm delusional. I know I got trauma. I can't forgive him because that's letting him off the hook too easy. That man don't give a fuck about the fact that he left you. Guess who's the only person that has to sit there and deal with the pain and the trauma still? You. And that's what I feel like a lot of people don't understand with that trauma stuff. It's you. You're the one sitting with that shit still. That's why I gave it up, man. I ain't got no animosity, no hatred in my heart towards nobody. I wish everybody the best. I wish you nothing but love, peace, and prosperity. But I just recognize, when some shit just ain't for me. Like, it's really all about reciprocity for real. I feel like that's the easiest way to tell if somebody rock with you or not. And I don't mean reciprocity in a sense like, you know, um, I gave you, I don't know, I gave you 5 bands, you gave me 5 bands back. Like, yeah, that would be nice. But it's like I gave you 5 bands. Maybe you ain't got 5 bands to give back. You say you gonna do it, you working on it, but it's like after I do that, you still being a good friend, you checking in on me, you making sure I'm straight, my mental cool. Not I do for you, and then you never do for me. You never text me, you never call me, you never check in on me, you never check the temperature, you never see how I'm doing, what I'm dealing with, where my mental at. You feel me? Like, for anybody that's out there that's like me, that's a hopeless romantic and always wants to see the good in people, man, reciprocity, bro. And y'all know I'm right. If you doing all this shit for a motherfucker and they can't even do the bare minimum for you, just stop. And I know it's hard because we love and we want these people to love us so bad. But the more you do it, the more you training people the more you're just teaching these people that it's okay to treat you however the fuck they want to, because at the end of the day, they know you're gonna be there on hands and knees waiting to do whatever it is that you can to love them and show them that they're loved. Fuck that. Like, I heard it from a friend a long time ago that she was like, "Yo, you don't love yourself," and I know you don't because of certain stuff. And I got upset, I got offended, and I was back in college. And it didn't take me until getting older, or it took me until I got a little bit older and really analyzed. And I was like, "You're right." She was right. The shit that I do, the shit that I was doing, the way I would let people walk all over me and shit, it's just. But yeah, more of the story, man. Work on your trauma, address your trauma, yo. If you want to be with somebody, start a family, all that stuff, man, don't pass that trauma on to those kids. Don't pass that trauma on to those people, man. That's not fair. And that's the last thing I want to do, man. Hurt other people because I was so ignorant and oblivious to my own pain. And I would rather eat a leather fucking boot, no beverage, no bev, bro, than deal with an ungrateful ass motherfucker, yo. Like, it's just certain shit that I just can't deal with no more, bro. Like, I just can't. And to the person I was talking about in this video, like I said, I wish you nothing but the best. But let's work on your trauma, yo. For real. Because if not, you destined to continue to repeat the same shit over and over again. I'll be damned, bro. I will be fucking damned. Peace out.